You quarantined him. He couldn't graduate, so he went through boot camp again. And he got scarlet fever that time.
Oh
He
my.
went through boot camp 4 times, but that time he had enough points to get out.
So where were you born?
Pardon me?
Where were you born?
Nebraska, Du Bois, Nebraska,
Oh, okay, and what year?
22.
Wasn't Du
August.
Bois, honey, was it?
Huh?
Wouldn't it have been Humboldt?
The mail route was Du Bois.
Okay.
We lived 10 miles south of Humboldt and 5 miles east of Du Bois.
Because it was in the country, okay.
And so how old were you when you joined up?
I was 19. No, I was 18. And I was 19 and I went in on 2nd August and I was 19 on the 13th of August.
Here was a leisure time picture. This is when you dressed up. Yeah. This looks like you were on the boat, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you had to stay on the boat the whole time. You didn't get, yeah.
Yeah, we had
That-
living
That
quarters
was
on.
your
Lit-
home.
Okay, that was your home.
Very pretty.
My girl's got a bang out of that.
Yeah. Did you dance too?
No, I didn't dance there, but I did dance.
Oh.
You know, that's a funny thing. My cousin taught me to dance Bohemian. And then, I got that down good, so she taught me the American dance.
Mm-hmm.
And I got them mixed up, and I can't dance either one of them.
You know what would be nice for you to add is the way you were treated by the USO and the people before you shipped out in New York.
Yeah,
I think that's something that,
Mm-hmm.
that they need credit
that
on,
was at Great Lakes.
well, wherever it
We-
was.
we
Well, no,
went
one
there.
wasn't because the guy showed you New York.
Yeah, well, that's when we come home.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you can share that with us, yeah, both, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, in Great Lakes, the people come and got us from the USO and took us to church. And then we had dinner at their house, and then they drove us around the country, show us around. And I lost their address, and I've hated it ever since.
Mm.
And in New York, when we come home, Frank and I was seeing New York. This guy pulled up 2 o'clock in the morning. He says, "What are you guys doing?" "We're seeing New York for the last time." "We'll get in the car and I'll take you home. We'll have breakfast and I'll show you New York." And so we did. And his wife got breakfast for us. And we went to New York and he took us to the gate at 8 o'clock.
Hmm.
And I lost their name.
And you had your uniforms on?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
Another thing I forgot to tell you about, the officers had black people for cooks and whatever. But this one black kid wanted to go out on patrol with it. Nobody would take him, and he got to our boat, and I said, "If you can get the skipper to okay it," I said, "I'll be responsible for you." So he gave me the okay, and he come back. I said, "Now, there's one thing about it. When we get out there at night, you don't smile." He says, "Why?" I said, "Your teeth are so white, you'll give us away." He was a good kid, though.
So you were in charge of the PT boat,
Just
The
just
crew,
guns.
I was in charge of the guns.
the guns, okay, and that's why you had the position out front.
Yeah. The
Okay.
skipper was in charge, and he was, well,
Down. He don't need your help, Haley.
he was about,
Come on, down.
you can see right here. That's his quarter right there, that's where
Where that
No,
number
po-
9 is? Or
Would you
something?
point that out again?
right here.
Okay.
That's where the wheel was, where you controlled that direction.
And was he actually safer there? Was that a protection? Was it pretty
No,
well?
there was nobody really safe any place.
Yeah.
Because all you had around you at the time would be plywood.
Where they steered it, wasn't it?
Huh?
Where he steered it.
Yeah.
He was a skipper, okay.
And I was his assistant
Mm-hmm.
for a long time.
You men, you 15 men spent so much time together. Did you really Are you still in communication with some of them? How many of them survive?
You are with two yet, some of them have passed
Yeah,
away.
2 of them are still living that I know of.
When you get together, do you rehash your same stories and talk about things?
Not really. Talk about what's going on nowadays. I went to see Frank when he used to live in Hammond, Indiana. And he came out to Nebraska to see me. In Hammond, Indiana, we had to meet all his relatives, and every place we went, I had to have beer. I said, boy, aren't you going to run out of relatives? I can't hold any more beer. It was home brew. Boy, I'm telling you, we got home. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And Frank stayed in the bathroom and heaved most of the time. I was able to keep mine down. But
What's
Yeah.
Frank's last name?
Trezak,
They lost contact with each other, and it's just been about, what, 5 years ago that you finally found him again?
something like that.
Oh, good.
What's the name of the other one?
Other guy,
OJ.
oh, Harry Reidenbeck,
Well,
he's in Pennsylvania.
well, what about OJ?
O.J. Chalice in California. Harold Hart was in St. Louis. He passed away a year ago.
What was the other one that passed away that the daughters wrote to you?
That was
One
Hart.
of the sons let you know. Was it Hart? I thought it was somebody else. Okay.
You had one guy from Georgia. He had 13 kids. It was time to get out. Why he wanted to go home, and I said, "You're crazy." Why? Well, I said, "You're making more money than the admiral is," because he put his maximum in for child support, and they matched it. Each individual they matched.
And that amounted to how much?
He was putting about $300 away, and he has 13 kids, $300 each one of them. But he only had to put up one $300, and they did all the rest of them. So he's making more money than the admiral. It was fun.
It was fun because they were so young, they didn't realize the danger, I think.
Our last radioman, he died 2 years ago, and I got a letter from his daughter, was it?
That's who I was thinking about, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We had one radioman, it was crazy. And I was in charge of all the guns, and the executive officer said, "You leave my gun alone, I'll take care of it." They had a 30 caliber machine gun, so I left alone. I went on a working party, and I come back and found out I had to go see the skipper of the fleet. The darn fool had taken that gun and pointed at everybody, and he was going, making a noise like a machine gun, and he stuck it in the air and squeezed the trigger, and it went off. The skipper went with me. We got out, he says, "John, if that ever happens again, we'll both be in the Army." So he held a court-martial. Bless his heart, he put me in charge and had to clean all the guns on 12 boats once a week. And the executive officer was number one to go. He had to clean guns because he was the one who told me to leave his gun alone, and he didn't unload it. So he had to clean guns with everybody else. I thought that was really good. Because they had a guy get killed once before in that, on the tender, somebody shot in the side of it. Luckily, he pointed up in the air instead of.
Mm-hmm.
But if he'd have squeezed that trigger when he was going around, he'd kill all of them guys.
Did you lose a friend?
Did I?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Over there.
The guy that
The
PT
PT boat. Okay. And your friend did that tattoo?
No, he drew
He
it.
drew it,
He
and
drew
the
it.
other guy done the tattooing. I get the dog out of the way.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good shot, as good as it's gonna be. I
Uh-huh,
can see
'cause
the
it's-
USN.
Yeah, the USN shows up. Now I'll fasten it later. Controlling your arm and the dog at the same time is not easy.
Yeah.
Sit
I
down.
scratched my
Down
eye
here.
or
Down.
a week or so ago and been patent medicine. Boy, she can't understand it for Leona to be working on my eye.
Down.
She gets right up in my face.
Down.
You have a story to tell about a friend.
Who drew that?
Well, he drew this picture of this PT boat that's on my arm. We was in Brisbane, Australia, is where I had it put on. It was funny because there was three of us going to have a tattoo.
No.
We was walking down the sidewalk, and these were board sidewalks in Australia. And there comes three Australian soldiers. One of them made a mistake and said, "Who's gonna give?" And I said,
Huh.
"Well, we'll find out who wants to walk on this sidewalk." And they decided maybe we ought to stay on the sidewalk, and they got off. And we had that tattoo put on, and it didn't hurt, except he had a dirty old towel. He kept wiping the blood off, and that towel was so dirty and it hurt every time he swiped it. Then he closed the doors to keep, had more than he could do that night. And boy, it got hot in there. Before he got out of there, about passed out. But,
Was there alcohol involved?
no, everybody said you had to be drunk to get a tattoo, so
Uh-huh.
my friend O.J. Teller and I, we each drank a pitcher of milk. We got tattooed.
Oh. So this is your friend's name is OJ that did the.
Ollie's his name, but
Did
he
he
goes
draw
by
the,
O.J.
did he draw the tattoo?
Huh?
Did he draw the tattoo?
No, the
Oh.
kid
Fella
got
that
killed.
got killed.
drawing
Oh,
it.
what was his name?
Tally?
No, the one
No,
that drew it.
That drew it.
I can't tell you right now.
Oh.
I forgot what it was. I can see him, but I can't tell you his name. That aggravates me too because that's happened too many times now.
Was he on the boat then when he?
He was on a boat that ran with us.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the boat that ran with us. I said ran with us, but he was in our squadron. He was on the boat with the planes on it.
Now, she asked.
We had a dog for a mascot. O.J. and I did. We'd keep him part of the time, and O.J'd keep him part of the time.
Oh.
The mascot was with O.J. the day he got sunk.
Oh.
He said when them planes would dive, he said, "I'd dive down in the water and that darn dog would come and go down with me." He said they'd shoot all over. The dog got wounded and he did too.
Oh.
But he couldn't get the dog to stay away from him.
What kind of a dog was it?
It was a wire-haired
Airedale?
Airedale.
Airedale.
That's what I thought I'd heard him say,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure.
You know, he got him home, brought him home, and the dog got a Purple Heart too.
Was this kind of common to be able to have a dog on your boat?
Oh.
Oh, I was gonna say you guys got by with something.
Well, the only reason you could tell the difference between an officer and an enlisted man was the color of his jeans. He wore khaki shorts and the enlisted men wore jean shorts.
Oh.
Otherwise, you didn't know if he was talking. If he put on jean shorts, you wouldn't know he's an officer.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot what I was going to say.
I don't know, they were wondering if it bothered you after you came home.
Oh yeah, I used to when I went in at the cafe. I'd never sit unless I had my back to the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever there's a loud noise, I'd jump about 2 feet. I just got over that probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Do you have dreams or not?
Huh?
Did you have dreams or not, nightmares of it or not?
I don't know. I dreamed so crazy. I don't know if I had or not. Probably
I
did.
know we have friends that did. A friend that did, he's passed on too, and he was, but he was in the army. He was shot up and died several times.
Maybe you can share with us the story about when you heard the war was over, where you were and your situation.
She didn't have that on.
Yeah, she didn't have the tape on
Oh,
when you.
well, we was about 30 miles off of the shore of Japan. And I told you about the guys being hosed down like cattle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came
But
back
when
to
you
Pearl
heard-
Harbor.
When you heard that it was over is what she wants.
Well, we was all happy about it.
Yeah, but what were you doing?
I'm not a not a, what you call a guy jumps and hollers and hoops
Yeah,
and
but
hollers.
what were you doing when it
I was
happened?
taking a test.
That's what they want
Yeah.
on there.
That's what they took out from under me.
Well, see,
For
they didn't have
promotion.
that on when you
No.
said that a while ago.
Yeah.
I was taking a test for first class gunner mate.
Okay.
And when I got out, well, this took me to Pearl Harbor. And then Pearl Harbor wanted to put me on a different ship.
Yeah, they have that part, but they just didn't know where
But
you,
when I got,
what you were doing. What you were doing when you heard the war was over is what they didn't
yeah.
know.
But I was going to say something about when we got out, but I forgot what it was.
When you came home,
What?
what?
I couldn't get my dad to come and get me.
Mm-hmm.
I hitchhiked from Omaha to Humboldt. I rode these gasoline trucks or oil tankers, 6 miles east of town, and I walked to a neighbor that I knew lived east of Humboldt, and I called Dad. He says, I'll be in after I'm done milking. So I walked 6 miles into Humboldt, and I walked 10 miles home.
Oh.
He
Did-
forgot to come and get me.
Oh.
My dad wasn't on good terms, never.
Oh.
I respected him, but I didn't like his doings.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out of high school, I got $10 a month wages, board and room. Hired man got 50. I did the same kind of work. War broke out. Hired man got a $50 raise. I got a $3 raise.
Mm.
And that's the straw that
Why you went in the
broke
Navy?
the camel's
Then
back.
you decided just to.
That's when I
Oh.
got my first paycheck, $67. I thought I struck a gold mine.
That's true.
So what did you do then when you got home? You didn't stay with your dad? Not very long, I bet.
No, I went to California. My wife's folks were there.
When did you get married?
I was home on leave. We got married, but it's about, maybe 6 months before the war was over.
Had you been writing to her all the time?
I was going early before I went in. If I knew then what I know now, I
No,
would
we're
have
not going into that.
She's the third one. I found the good one at last. But if she would have been the